Hello, my abnormal family. I am having a wonderful night tonight, and welcome to your favorite cryptid channel and the best cryptid channel in Oklahoma. Guys, I've got a great encounter for you tonight. I'm in a great mood tonight. A lot of good things are happening, and that's what we want. So, let's get into the encounter. I grew up in Florida, the Sunshine State. I lived in the capital of Tallahassee. It was nice and I enjoyed spending my childhood down there. That is, until what happened a few years back that forced me to move. This all started back in January of 2017 when I was 16. A few weeks after landing my first job, during my first high school years, I worked at a local Chick-fil-A restaurant. I enjoyed working there and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a job. Anyway, I had to work a 4 to 11 p.m. shift one night getting trained. I was getting trained on how to close at different stations and things like that. Now we close at 10, but we don't get out until 11 because we have to clean all the stations such as dishes, grills, fryers, floors, etc. Since I was 16, due to child labor laws, I had to leave right at 11, as did most of my other coworkers. I finished up, clocked out, and walked out to my car in the parking lot behind the restaurant since we weren't allowed to park up front where the customers do. I got in my car and I got on the main road. My house was around 20 minutes away from the restaurant, but since it was 11 p.m., there weren't many cars out. So I would usually take my about 12 to 15 if I worked this late. I was on the main road for a few minutes, then I turned onto a road that I normally used as a shortcut. This was a darker road and a curvy one at that. I didn't have any streetlights. This road also had a large cemetery that really creeped me out. A few times I've driven on this road and have heard what sounded like screams coming from the direction of that cemetery. Anyway, I was driving down that road with my bright lights on when a large black figure ran out in front of me. I slammed on my brakes. Luckily, I didn't hit it. My heart was beating out of my chest as I tried to calm myself. I looked around to see if I could see what I almost hit, and that's when I saw it. We locked eyes as I was staring it down. This creature was big, around 7 to 8 feet tall. It had a large, muscular body of a bodybuilder. It had a canine-shaped head with pointy ears and with a long snout. As it looked at me, it looked as if it was grinning at me. Its teeth were razor sharp and as white as a cloud. Its eyes reflected a bright yellow glow. I wanted to floor it out of there, but I couldn't. I was in too much shock, and what I was looking at, I couldn't even move a muscle. I finally snapped out of it and punched the gas and got out of there. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw those eyes staring back at me as I sped down the road. I was so scared. I was shaking. I was in shock, I know I was. I got home, locked every single door and window, sat down on my bed just thinking about what the hell I had just saw. I know this sounds crazy, but I think I saw a werewolf or a dogman or something like that, Mike. I couldn't sleep that night. I was worried that that thing might have somehow followed me home, and it would try to get in the house. Oh my God, I hope not. I didn't tell anybody about my encounter because I knew no one would believe me. The story doesn't end here, though. I had more encounters with this thing throughout the next 2 years. One night I came home from the work, and I had to park in the grass since my dad had to leave for work early in the morning, so I wouldn't be blocking him. I got out of my car, got all my things, and looked over to the left, and I saw the bushes. I saw two eyes. This time I was out of my car and much more vulnerable. We locked eyes, and my heart sank as if it let out a deep growl. I had to bolt for the door. I didn't want to wait, so I took off and I was running. I didn't want to know what was going to happen next. Thank God. Thank God, Mike. My parents leave the door unlocked for me as I was able to get quickly in. I locked the door and made sure all the others were locked. I looked out the window and it was gone. I changed my work schedule the next day, telling them that I couldn't work late anymore. This thing was stalking me, and I knew it knew where I lived. I didn't want to risk my life a few nights a week just for minimum wage. And my boss, of course, I didn't tell him what was going on. I told him it was due to homework, which he was fine with. I had some other small encounters every once in a while over the next year, looking out my window to see it, and I could see the eyes in the bushes. This thing was following me now, stalking me. I even feared for my dog since we had let him out a few times, and he would just go crazy. So I don't let him out after the sun goes down regardless, and if he does use the bathroom in the house, I feared this thing would eventually try to break in. Maybe it has or tried to, and I just don't know about it. I now live in North Carolina, and I attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I haven't seen this creature in a while now. My parents sold the house we were living in. I'm a lot happier now, and I feel a lot safer being 8 to 10 hours away from that thing. I just hope I don't run into another one again. I watched your show the other night, Mike, and this is what actually made me share this story. You said sometimes when people accidentally have encounters with these creatures, they continue to have encounters. I believe that creature, when I had that encounter, he followed me home. He knew where I lived, and he continued to come back. But once we moved, of course, he didn't know where we was at. So yeah, Mike, I think you're onto something there. Whenever we accidentally see these things, or we go seek them out on purpose, and they do see us, or we have an encounter, they tend to follow us home. Not something I would want to happen. I know we were all very scared. Thank you for sharing my story, Mike. Love watching your channel. Yeah, I have thought about that, guys. And I do believe that once we have an encounter with these things, for some odd reason, they do follow us home, and they tend to, people have encounters after it happens. A lot of these stories you read are accidental encounters. So yeah, whatever's happening that's causing these things to follow you home, I don't know exactly why they do, but I think it's some kind of a infatuation they get with you, a curiosity, I'm not sure. But just know that if you're ever on your way home at night and you accidentally see something or think you see something, and you're not driving fast and your home's not far away, be careful getting out of your car, going to your car, or even letting your pets out at night, because they might just follow you home, and you never know when one's going to be waiting at the door for you, or stick its arm in the doggy door. That happens a lot. So definitely keep your head on a swivel so you don't get pulled out a doggy door and become something's dinner. And we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you for watching and smashing that like button.